Welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast of three brothers trying to figure it all out, with your hosts Brandon, Collin, and Aaron. On this week's show, trucks and toilet paper. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, pretty good, I think.
Ow.
Oh.
A little different, so I think it's fine. But I don't
Okay.
Ow.
Aaron.
Okay.
Aaron.
Hold on.
Aaron.
Hold on.
I think Aaron cannot say the same.
I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
It doesn't sound. That's not the sounds that fine people make, right? Like
No.
You don't know.
I do know.
I'm finer than anyone could ever be fine. I am wunderbar. There's my charger. All right. In the game. Hello. Oh.
What kind of crevice did you have to squeeze through to get to that? It's
Well, so, in the process of moving in, getting stuff organized, just put my desk together, putting all the little nooks and crannies here, and trying to make it like somewhat aesthetically, easy and convenient. And so I was like, oh, it'd be a really cool idea if I put my charger like behind my desk. And then got it lost in the other cords. So I am in the game now.
That's always the balance, right? Of how nice does it look versus how functional is my workspace, right? Because mine is not. It's not pretty. Let me tell you.
Yeah, no, mine's actually not too bad. It's just, some of the wires underneath it. Like I have my work laptop going across one way. I have my personal laptop charger going the other way. I have this little light thing that's going the opposite direction. And then I somehow managed to get my phone charger up through something. So it's actually not bad. It looks relatively decent. But I just had to get down and get everything first.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like you see those pictures that people post online and stuff about like, oh, here's my new work area, and it's like really clean and tidy, and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
I'm always like, but you're not like, are you working? Like, what? Doesn't look like you're doing anything. Like, I don't know.
Right. No, 100%. Say, okay.
I live by the axiom of
stuff.
Yeah. I live by the motto, you can't trust a person with a clean desk. Because that means they're not doing anything. Right. So like yeah.
Well, I haven't worked I haven't sprawled my paperwork out yet, and there's a lot. So I'm sure by Monday my desk will just be covered in paperwork and pens and all sorts of manner of random things.
Yeah,
so I'm sure Monday will be a different story.
That's what my desk at school looks like. It looks just like an utter disaster. There's all kinds of, it's fine, don't worry. This is mostly functional. I know what things are, mostly, probably.
Yeah, as long as you know what things are,
it's fine. There's a system here.
As long as you know where stuff's at, that's all that really matters.
Yeah, I almost always know where stuff's at, so it's fine. Mm-hmm. But I don't.
It is a consistently variable hit rate, but it's okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's fine. Don't worry. It's fine. All the stuff's graded. It's okay. It's no worries. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Keep turning things in. It's all
good.
good.
Yeah. So that's basically been my week is oh yeah, got to make sure. I'm just trying to make sure I have this really bad habit of like the kids turn stuff in, and I'm like, sweet, it's turned in, and I just pile it.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of where it stops. So all of a sudden, like if I'm not careful, I have this monster pile of like stuff. I'm like, oh, wait, there's one more step here that needs to be done that I forgot to do. So I've been going through I am 100% caught up on all my grading stuff. Aha.
Nice.
Except for like the few people that I'm missing things from. So there we go. I had a really like ginormous list in the middle of this week of like missing things.
Ooh.
Half of them were magneted to the backboard in the room because they didn't have names on them. So I wrote a big sign that says "Help, we're lost," and then just stuck all the papers on there. And very slowly they realized, oh, those are mine.
Yeah. Nice.
So I got called, and I even passed them back because I also do the same thing where I like grade them, and then I just pile them up when I'm graded them in a different pile. I'm like, haha, I'm done. Oh wait, they probably need to get them back. Yeah. Well, as it turns out, there's another step. They want them back. And they want to see how they've been doing, obviously, and then we can put them in our binders so that we have like evidence of our work and all that stuff for our learning binder. So I have a real bad habit. That's the real bad one that I've had to work on. Last year I focused on that a lot because like I'm really good about getting it graded and getting it in there. Getting it back to you though is hard.
Yeah.
So either I pile them up for a little while, and then one day I'm like, I need assistance passing these back. Volunteers, and sixth graders are all about volunteering to pass out papers. So that's fine. Yeah. And other times, if it's just like a singular thing, like a bigger thing, on paper, because we do other stuff on like digitally, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to pass those back because they already have them. But I'll just whatever class I have, I'll just lay them all on the floor in the back and say, there's your paper, go find it. And then they go back and get it.
Yeah, I remember doing that of like trying to get it all caught up and just I couldn't be bothered to pass it out. So I just make big stacks on a side table and go, papers are over there. If there's anything left, I'm throwing it away. And and they didn't like that, so
that would be nice, but I can't do that.
Yeah, I know you have.
There will be some that are like,
different.
All right, like no, they need to go in your binder though. So get them. We need to have evidence of our stuff in our learning binder. So let's do that.
Need to prove things.
We do. I just had a thought. I should probably move our learning target sheet from our first unit that we're done with. I should probably have them move that to the back of the binder so we don't get it confused with the new one that we just got. Might need to think about doing that. Anyway, okay. How was your week?
Mine has been really good. Have been very heavily doing podcast stuff. So that's been consuming a lot of time. I've been doing many.
So this is different from normal Hal, exactly.
yeah. Well, I think it's just been more focused. Been doing like really concerted effort to get in interviews and doing other associated stuff. So it's been a heavy podcast week, which has been good. I'm currently recording on assignment from a house in town, sitting a Chewini named Junior.
A what?
A Chewini?
Oh dear,
that's a Chihuahua and a wiener dog.
It sounds scary, like it's just going to bite all your fingers off.
Well, they typically do, but he's okay. They're typically much better when the owner is not around, which is hard to convince the owner of.
Well, that's fair, but like, I mean, those are both dogs that just like, I'm going to bite you now. Like, what?
Oh no! I mean, I have sat some that have been so bad that in order to get them out of their kennel or to go outside, I've had to pick them up with oven mitts and a towel. Yeah.
How often does it happen?
not very. There was one in Texas.
Every time. That's what
I think her name was Daisy. Daisy, and if Megan's listening to this at a later time, she'll be angry because I got it wrong. But she was a terrible dog. She was really, really bad. And we had to go over and do drop-ins for her. So we'd just come in every 3 times a day and let her out. And I had to use oven mitts to get her, to grab her, to get her out, because she would back herself into a corner and she wouldn't come out. So yeah, that was. And then started doing the towel, because the towel really calms them because they can't see. And it was, so that's a tactic we've used a couple times.
You take inspiration from Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
Just yell crikey and then throw a towel on his face.
Yeah. And they are like, ooh, I'm safe now. And you're like, yes, you are safe.
Hey, safe.
Yeah.
I like to envision Collin doing all this, but narrating it like Steve Irwin, like out loud, like there's a camera.
Looking at the camera.
Like looking at where the camera would be.
Getting like on all
khaki
fours.
shorts. And
getting really close
well,
to
we know you're
dog.
Gets on it.
Yeah, we know you're wearing those khaki shorts anyway, so don't even pretend like that's a new thing. But like,
this is true. For sure.
But yeah, it's like, Crocky, look at this one. Isn't she a beauty? But she's grumpy. Like,
yes, I can definitely very much see that with Collin doing that. With she's angry because I have my face in her face.
Yeah, right.
Yes. If he wasn't doing it before, he's definitely going to do it now. Let's just be honest. This is
just to entertain the homeowners that have indoor cameras.
I like cameras. Yeah, like,
right. I'd be like, what is he doing? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I like it.
Oh man, I missed that show.
But yeah.
That was the only show that, because you know how like when Netflix first started, I don't know if it's like this now, but when it like first started doing streaming, you could like email requests to have like put on Netflix. And that was the only time I ever wrote Netflix. I was like, hey, the Crocodile Hunter is actually really popular. Do you think you could, I don't know, stream that for a while, maybe? I never got a response back.
I actually watched it. It's on like Animal Planet randomly. Just like, here it is. Like, what? And so I was watching it one morning before work. I got up and I was like, while I was sitting on the couch eating mostly drinking my breakfast of coffee, sitting there watching it before like the mentally preparing, like, okay, I'm going to need to be dressed later. So I'm just going to sit here for a while. And it's really hard to find stuff on TV at, 6:00 in the morning that you want to like, you just need something on TV. At least I do. I need something on. It doesn't have to be good. But when the Crocodile Hunter is on there, aha! How exciting is this?
Yes, excellent.
Excuse me. So, Aaron, how's the move?
Yes.
How is are you tuckered out from all the hefting and the hauling of the stuff?
Yes, there's been much hefting. So last, what was it? Saturday, my friend Michael came up from Oklahoma City, and now granted, I originally had like 5 of my friends that were going to show up and move everything, and I got a U-Haul, and dude, we'll get this busted out quickly.
They all found other things to do, didn't they?
It was just Michael and myself.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's accurate.
Shelby went and did some pre-packing and some stuff at her house, or at her mom's house, and got all of her stuff. But as far as like all the big stuff in our apartment, it was Michael and myself, and then drove down here. Her family, and Michael, myself, and then like one of my other friends showed up right at the tail end. to get stuff, and so we've been slowly throughout the week. We've been putting one or two things here or there, but today we moved a lot of the big stuff around, got stuff organized, did some shopping for the new place, but that we did a lot of work, especially today. Today was a lot of work of just getting stuff, done and clean and prettified, and so hopefully by a week or two we'll get everything all situated to where it needs to be. But there's still a few boxes, still a few clothes. But other than that, it's a lot better than the place I was living.
Correct. Like bigger, like
yeah. So it is both. So it is a bigger apartment. It is in a much better location because we moved from a town that was more older person oriented to a much more accommodating city. Kind of, with more stuff to do, with bigger, more locations, and should be able to shop for kind of what we need instead of having to if we need something we need to drive an hour or whatever. Now it's just it's just like right around the corner. So it's
that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. We live in a very nice community area. So yeah, it was a good pick. I was very happy with our selection. So I got a little corner of my office all situated, and then tomorrow we're gonna be doing some more unpacking and more moving things around and stuff like that. So it's definitely different than what I moving in and out of college dorm or a college apartment, and then
you don't. I would hope so. Let
me take my one or two bags of whatever, and then
that's true.
Move off to whatever and have buy some more stuff, and then actually moving legitimately moving completely to a different city, and just I have a lot more stuff than I anticipated I did. I don't know where this stuff came from, and then just kind of the daunting realization of I have to move all this, but why? And dad was our father was super supportive, but I remember him telling me, he's like, well, when I moved to college, I had 2 duffel bags in my little Ford Mustang. I'm like, yeah, thanks, Dad, I know, but yeah, I had a Jeep full, and then his truck of when I moved out of college, and then when I started adulting.
That happened to me too in my dorm room. Somehow, the stuff when I went down at the beginning of the year, when I came home at the end of the year, I had way more things. I don't really know how that happened.
Right? And so, and then moving out of, especially when I graduated from OSU, moving into the wonderful family that housed me for a little bit because I was a, poor teacher.
Oh, yes.
I was like, I actually don't own one lick of furniture. And so then I'm like, yes, I have all of the furniture. And then it's I have to move all of that furniture. And then all the stuff with it. So it was definitely a challenge. But it was definitely, that once everyone left and we got the door closed and, we actually looked at everything the light touched was our kingdom. It was very it was very humbling and very this is ours now. So it was a very rewarding feeling. And I know the Shelby is also very relieved to be finally moved, but now we just got to do all the little things and get done with that. So it's been an experience. I am of the tired, but I found the Starbucks. I found the Buffalo Wild Wings. So I'm
Aaron needs literally nothing else. He's good.
No, that's all. I went and watched football today. Oh, and the vintage stock. I found the vintage stock.
Those still around? There you go.
Heck yeah, they are.
Well, who knew?
So I did that. I did stuff, and then I put my desk together, which I'll take a picture here in a little bit after my phone gets done charging. And then I put up last week after being on the phone with our father for over like an hour of trying to hook up and fix the dryer to be able to function from a 3-prong hookup to a 4-prong hookup, which
you have to replace the plug.
Yeah, so I had to go in, and it's a significantly older dryer, and so for those listeners out there, our father is an electrical engineer, and so the terminology that father used to what I don't know what those words are. So what does the prong hookup that's reverse look like? I don't
define reverse.
When you're looking at it, what does it look like? I'm looking at a lot of things. I don't know. So I got the
gray. I got wiry.
I got the washer, or I got the dryer hooked up. The washer was easy. The dryer,
but the dryer plugs have changed from the old one, so you can.
I felt very accomplished after I hooked it up and nothing caught fire. And then
this is good news.
Yes, and then got the bedroom looking snazzy. We got her bathroom prettified. We got my bathroom looking awesome. And then there's just we're working on the kitchen, and now we're working on our little office space that has like extra clothes. I'm trying to find bookshelf for all of my thousands of books that I have. But no, it is because I think my apartment that I lived in Bartlesville was like 730 square feet, like one bedroom, one bath, a tiny kitchen, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna need for the rest of my life. And then life happens, and like, this is actually significantly tinier than what I thought was accommodating. So it's a very nice apartment. It's very homey. There's lots of windows, which are convenient for all of her plants that she has. It does suck that it's on the second floor, so moving was kind of hindered. But it's actually it's a really neat little community over here. I'm living in a gated place that has a little key thing to get in.
So swanky.
Yeah, I know.
Super fancy.
I feel bougie. Oh no. It doesn't help. I pull up my car and there's someone that's driving like a 2020, Dodge Ram, and I'm like, oh, hello, sir.
It's fine. It's the next step. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
and it's a Dodge Ram, so
it's not gonna last long. But no, it's very. We've met a few of our neighbors. They're what's a way to? They're interesting. They're actually talk to you, and they're very friendly. My first experience I had with my neighbor in Bartlesville, I pull up. I'm living there for like 3 days, and I just pull up after work one day, and this guy just comes out and knocks my window, and he's like, "Hey, can I use your phone? I need to call my mom." I was like, what? And then
no, that's a no, buddy.
That same night at like 10 o'clock, he knocks on my door again, asks me if I can help him with his phone so he can call his mom again. And I'm like, 10 o'clock, okay. And then the next night, I saw flashing red lights, and I was like, what is going on? And then the guy is being wheeled away in a stretcher. I was like, oh, where am I living? But no, people here are, they're actually, like, oh, hey, oh, hey, blah, blah, talk to you. We do have a family that lives above us. That's a significant change of every morning at 7 o'clock. You hear feet of 3 children just I'm awake. I'm awake now. But besides that, I mean, it's very like I just got Wi-Fi Friday, so which should have been hooked up Wednesday, but I'm not holding a grudge against anybody.
Right. That's what people that don't hold grudges say.
Yeah, no. So, but they were also very accommodating and like they're actually very helpful because they're like, oh well, we missed Wednesday. How about next Tuesday? I was like, nope, no.
Yeah, how about no?
But then they're like, oh, how about we can do Friday, and I'm like, oh yes, that is mucho better. And then I was on the phone with a very nice lady that was really helpful for about an hour. And then the guy showed up Friday, was here for like 10 minutes, and then he left. And then I've had Wi-Fi since, so I cannot complain. But I think just the whole process of what do you mean my services was disconnected? Well, I don't. It just says your services weren't completed, so we missed your appointment. What do you mean you missed my appointment? So everything, all the water under the bridge. I have moved up or moved on and matured and from this learning.
He's more embittered than ever.
Yeah, right. That's actually happening.
They'll go my great book of grudges for the rest of my life. But they're the only ones that work in the area, so yay for my internet overlords for the next several years.
Yeah, that's the annoying part, right? When there's like the one main one.
Yeah.
And there's one of those in our area too. It's like the main people, but like they're not really very good. And everybody that I've like most people use them, but kind of just by default. And their service isn't very excellent. So every once in a while, we don't have them, right? Because we're just like, well, we have internet. It's not great, but it's fairly reliable. And like, I don't really want to switch to this other one that's like, I hear like my friends that have it are like, don't know, you know.
Yeah.
And so every once in a while, these jackwagons just like come and knock on my door. Like, oh yeah, we see that you don't have our services. Can we ask why? Like, go away. What are you doing here? Get out. This is not a good impression to make, man. If you want me to use your stuff, don't show up at my house and bother me about it. Jeez Louise, go away. What are you doing? The last time I talked to the guy like cordially, or the first time it happened, the last time it happened, the guy was like, well, can I ask about your upload speeds? And I was like, nope. He's like, well, what about, he's like, something about what you pay a month. And I was like, nope. And I just like stared at him like, go away. Why are you bothering me?
Oh, yeah. I love that when they're like, well, how many devices do you have in the house? What do you typically do? And I'm like, stop asking me questions. This is actually what I want. Please stop.
I do stuff with them, do things, and also stuff.
Well, yeah, because a lot of places are like, oh, do you want to, have the bundle thing? And I was like, no, I don't need a.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, they're like, oh, we can bundle with a home phone and the TV. It's like, I already have TV.
Mm-hmm.
Go away. It's like, but you could save mine. It's like, shh. I already have TV. Stop it.
Well, or when they're like, oh, this is internet's $50. But it's $40 if you bundle it with TV. And I'm like, well, how much is the TV? And they're like, yeah, it's like $50 thing. I'm like, so I'm not saving any money.
No, I'm actually spending more money.
Why would I do that?
You see how this works?
They're like, yeah, but the internet's cheaper. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but I'm still spending. Now I'm spending like $80 or $90, where it would have just been $50. You see, you have math. It doesn't work, buddy. Like, yes, I already have TV, and they're always like, "Oh yeah, well, ours isn't like it's like cable or whatever." Or like, and they're like, "Well, you might need the news with the weather gets bad." And I was like, phone. It's fine, dude.
I know.
It's okay. It's like, we got to watch the weather. It's like, I'll be fine.
What?
I'm not worried. It's like, and the satellite, like, maybe that was like, so my experience with the satellite internet is like, or the satellite just TV. Like, when it's like super mega stormy, it goes out now. But like, it's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's never like, oh my gosh, my life is incomplete because now I cannot watch this 20 minutes of television. Right? Like every once in a while, it's always inconvenient. Like it's something you want to watch, but do you get over it and move on with your life? Yes. Fine. So like, I don't care. It's just
yeah. So because when I first lived in Bartlesville, like it was like I called the people once, they were there the next day. And like that was it. So it was a little bit different to be like, oh well, we could be at this day. And I'm like, do you not know? I guess you don't know who I am, which is fine. But I'm kind of a big deal because the other place did it like really quickly, and they're like, oh, we'll be there Wednesday. I'm like, okay. So that was different. I was a little perturbed, but they're not used to me yet, so whatever. But yeah, it was just, thankfully I was able to use the service or the hotspot off my work phone. But even then, it was just like, I don't know if I want to do that exactly.
Well, yeah, and that's it's always fine for a little while. It's like, oh wait.
Yeah, so it was definitely a new ordeal. But like the guy that worked my thing was super great. He was here for like a little bit, and then he was out the door, and he was like, oh, that's it. And I was like, I felt like I could have done that myself, but thank you. And then everything's been fine. Everything's been groovy since, which I'm super happy about because I was miserable for the first few days, but because all of the books that we had were not packed yet or unpacked, and so it was just like, what do we do? What are we trying to do?
Gonna stare at each other, I guess.
Yeah. So,
hooray!
But other than that, it was we got that situated finally, and then we've been rolling good since.
Sweet. Other than sitting houses, you doing anything else this week, Collin? Other than casting pods?
No,
if you will.
Right. The casting of pods. No, I took.
It's like a mold. You do it in a mold. Is that what happens? You just like a sand mold, maybe.
Pour it in. Heat it up. Pour it in.
Heat it up. Pour it in.
Break it out. Yep.
Yes.
No, we took the Jeep into the shop because it started making this noise where if somebody in the household were to have a heavy foot, let's say, as an example, and this person were to accelerate at a brisk pace and then very quickly take their foot off of the accelerator while it's still up in the high revs, and you did that, you'd hear a quick, very fast, very faint, not even that aggressive even, when you would do that, and it would do it pretty repeatedly, and so this is concerning. So we took it in, and unfortunately, the story ends with a guy, a person telling me, "Well, I didn't recreate it, so why don't you come and drive it like you do, and we'll make it." And I was like, "Okay, if you need to hear this, okay." So I get in and I stomp on it, and I pass a little bit, and like foot hard to the floor, and then very quickly, like when you crest a hill and you're like, "Ah, there's a cop," like that fast. That kind of thing. And it just didn't make it at all, not even once.
Of course.
And I was like, of course. So he was like, "Look, it's not it's because it's so infrequent. It's obviously not like grinding itself to bits while you're driving it. And I was like, as far as we know, I guess, like, who knows? But okay. And so it's just one of those things, like, it's frustrating of like, I just wish, like, I just wish it was a little bit. I hate having to wait for it to get worse before I can get it fixed, right? Like,
well, here's the problem. Here's the problem with that particular train of thought. Like, it's like, let's pretend I know what I'm talking about for just a moment. I'm going to say transmission, right? Clutch, flywheel area, and
right.
No matter what happens, you got to take that thing out anyway. So like, and that's not a pretty
right
cost,
exactly.
Right? Like, so whether it's a little bit broken or a lot of it broken, the cost for taking down the transmission and looking at it's kind of the same. So it doesn't
exactly, because it all has to be moved. Yeah, if it's torque converter, if it's the clutch, if it's something in there, right?
Yeah.
You're not looking at a inexpensive labor.
Yeah, because that's probably where that sound is coming from. If it's like when you take off the rev real quick, it's probably torque converter, clutch, flywheel area of the transmission.
Yeah, because they were, he was like,
fun.
Does it stutter when you accelerate? And I was like, no. He's like, does it? He used to ask me all these questions. Like, no, it drives perfectly fine. It's just this one instance when it's way up in the revs and you take it off real quick. And it just sounds like, when you're driving a standard and you miss the shift up, right? Or, you miss that shift and but you quickly slide it over. Yeah. And it's just real fast.
Maybe, here's an idea. Maybe don't drive it that way.
Well, see, right. I know.
Why don't you slow down?
But
okay.
it's also,
you're not living in Texas anymore. You don't have to go 800 miles an hour everywhere.
Well,
okay. The rest of the traffic in where you live is like 70 years old anyway. They're not in a hurry. Okay. You don't have to go that fast
on the road.
And tractors, you don't have to go that fast to pass a tractor. Okay.
Wait.
Let me just tell you.
Well, and this one was, but there are instances where you do need to, pass, or you do need to get up and go. And so anyway,
yes, that's fair, but you don't need to be like at 8,000 RPMs and then like rip your foot off the gas. Like what's happening?
It should be able to handle that.
It's not a button. That's fair, but it's also not a button. It's not a on or off button, right?
Regardless,
there's all these middle areas.
Collin, it shouldn't slow down. It shouldn't be making the noise, so it is therefore needing to be fixed. And I think, and even there's one morning where it was cold, and I did it, and I didn't even have to do it as aggressive as I was trying to get it to do it that one time, where it was just I had pulled out into traffic. And it's 40 here in town, and I accelerated up to 40, and then I took my foot off the gas, and it made that sound. So, see, and it wasn't even where I was like, 40 as fast as I can. It was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, whatever.
It was here. Don't let him lie. Hey, if you have the nice big engine, you need to use it, right? You can't just putz around.
Did you check the transmission fluid?
Yes, it does have all fluids.
Okay, that was my. It's like,
yes.
Are you missing some? Because like
exactly
that could be.
But I was like, hey, yeah. So it does have all of that. Oh, and then on top of that, apparently in the 3.2 liter V6, the 3.2 V6 engine that Jeep puts in their vehicles, there's a known like coolant housing leak that happens, where the oil gets cooled down, the pipe or the hose that shunts oil out to be cooled cracks over time, and that has to be replaced, which is a very costly thing as well. So I was like, oh, good. So they're doing a dye tracing right now to make sure that that's where it is, and So I'm driving it for another 2 weeks, and then I'm going to take it in, and they're going to look to see where it's coming from to verify that's what needs to be done. So I have things on top of the car, things underneath the car, all sorts of fun stuff. This has been an interesting week. Yup.
That doesn't sound good at all.
No.
Meant to pull off the radiator, like the horn in for that, like
Yeah, it's the coolant housing just sits. I think it sits kind of towards the back of the engine, so you have to pull off a lot of things on top to get back to it.
Okay.
Yeah, where it was like where the part. It's one of those things of kind of like the transmission thing, where like the part itself is like $100, but it is also 6 hours of labor.
Yeah, because you take off like 5 things to
right. So the $100 part costs $600 to install, and then you're like, oh, okay,
yeah,
awesome, great. So we'll see. Hopefully, it's just a little O-ring or something like that. It probably won't be.
Yeah, I mean, not if it's a known cracking issue. I mean, it's the plastic they use was too cheap, and it's like
effectively
degrades too fast.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And what always annoys me about this is, and this goes for a lot of things, of when something like this is known to be defective, what do the manufacturers do? Do they supply a better replacement part? No. What do they do? They replace it with the same part that they know is defective. They just give you a new one. And you're like, why would you do that? I'm like,
well, I mean, they've already mass manufactured like thousands of them, so they just got to throw it in there.
Exactly. That is exactly why they do that. And they just go, well, this is just it, and you just restart the clock. And I'm like, that is
good for another 5 years. Go. Wait,
hold on. That's terrible. I hate that idea.
But yes, but it's the world that you live in, right? That's the disposable world that we have made for ourselves, right? There's no such thing as durable good anymore, really.
Oh my god!
Think about it. Like it's like, well, durable is like 5 years, then die for another one because it's just,
Well, yeah, and that's one of the big problems that I have right now with buying like an electric car, because they are so short-lived, right? They don't have the life expectancy of a traditional ICE engine, where
and I mean, it's just one of those things where, like, if you are making like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, it doesn't matter. You can buy it, right? When you're me and you make like tens of dollars a year,
literally all of the,
you're like, I'm a teacher. That's it. That's what it is. Tens of dollars. You can't. That's not a responsible thing to buy. If it's gonna be dead in like 5 to 7 years, like that's a terrible idea.
Yeah. No, it is. It is, because you start going like, what's my what's my annual cost to get this and maintain it?
Well, and plus the car is like the worst investment you can make anyway, because they only depreciate.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Only. No, Aaron. I'm sure it'll be fine when you buy a car later. But it only goes down in value like immediately. Right. Like the second you sign the paper, it's now worth like 15% less than it was.
Yeah. Even on used vehicles, right? You buy a used vehicle, it's okay. Don't take that initial hit, but it's still it's like one of the reasons to not finance it as much as you can, because you're driving a depreciating thing in value that you financed. It's like, oh no. But for some reason, cars, did you know that the average purchase price of a pickup truck is now somewhere around like $50,000 for a pickup truck?
That's crazy to me. That's not the. Well, I mean, again, we've talked about this before. Like some pickup trucks are not like it's a status symbol car, right? Like,
oh yeah,
a lot of people that drive now are not the builders and the ranchers and whatever. It's like, I mean, those people still do, but they're like lawyer guy who likes trucks and like doctor guy who
also like
whose
trucks.
grandpa had a truck,
right?
And so he wants a truck now, like,
but wants it to feel like
that's the clientele,
right? Like,
yeah, doesn't do like truck things, right? I have been in a truck that drove through a pond and like literally, I'm not lying, like through a tree. Like there was a big tree in the way and this dude just like ran it over. Right? Not like a big tree, but like a tree. And he was like, I need to go in there and make a path to this thing from my farm or whatever. Just drove the truck straight into it. Blam. Oh, God. You can't do that with
No.
This was extreme circumstance. I've never seen anybody do that before. I've never seen anybody go, I'm going to hit this tree on purpose. I was like, what? We're doing what?
Why? Exactly. But yeah, it's just an example of the increasing cost of many of these goods, but but them not sticking around for, let's say they stick around for the same amount of time, it's still costing you more to have that.
Some of that is some of that with the truck thing is like inflated cost. Like,
oh yeah,
a lot of it is this thing doesn't need to cost this much money.
No, they don't need.
There is this
all the technology and the leather and the heat.
Yeah, but they put it in there so they could charge you for it. We talked about this too before, but like,
yeah,
they add all in there. Like you don't need that, but we're gonna put it all in there, so you have to pay for it. Like what? What?
Yeah. This specific one of the trucks that I was reading about. It goes up to like it has a trim level that goes up to like $72,000, and it's got heated front, split heated front and rear seats. So like the back seats are also heated, but can be you can do this different. Yeah, all this stuff, and I was like, huh. Why would you? But okay, but people buy those.
That's so strange.
And I'm like, wow, for $70,000, you went and bought a pickup? Okay.
I mean, that's true. Think of all the other things you could buy.
All of the other things.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, it's not, that trim level is not any more robust than the base trim level.
Oh, no.
Right?
No.
So it's interesting that as you look around, the cost of goods keeps going up, but they're not sticking around longer, I think, on average, as they were 10 years ago.
Well, I mean, a part of that is it comes from the inflated price margin, right? A lot of these goods, it would still technically be possible for them to be produced at a low cost, and then to consumer paid less for them. How the people making them are only interested in maximizing profit margin. It's literally the only thing that's important. Nothing else is important, right? How much money can I wring out of this thing when people buy it? So it's not like you said about the broken part earlier. They could fix it, but then they would lose or they wouldn't make as much money, and that is not acceptable. Right, because the only thing that matters is how much money you can make on thing. That's literally it. There's no other consideration at all, which is just super annoying. It's like, why? Why do you have to suck so bad?
Yeah, and it's not a knock against any one particular company. They're a company in the business of making money. And whatever because they choose to do that, right? Whether it's trucks or toilet paper, right? they're going to make money off of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a whole different ethics question that we have, a future point. Like, should that be the number one priority? Right? Is the follow-up question to that, because it's what it is. It doesn't have to be that. Could, like, make things that are not terrible, or like make an interesting product, maybe. Like, so then I'll just 17 of the same thing. Yay! That's just what I wanted.
Oh. Hey, speaking of products, a wallet update. It is a little over a week or so into it.
Yes.
Yeah, I received my driver's license
already. It's so thin. It's gone. It's literally gone. He's hoping somebody finds it and puts it on his mailbox again.
It went right out. Yeah.
Went right and lost it.
But I will say that one of the features about this one was that it had that little pull tabby thing to, get the.
Oh, yes.
I have serious concerns about the longevity of this. Real serious. Real serious. So I don't think that little pull tabby thing is going to be there in 5 years. Mostly because it's a single
less time than that.
Yeah, it's a single strand of leather that's doubled over at the top to give you a little lip to pull on.
Yeah.
But what that does is it creates a crease point in the leather, right? So it keeps folding over on itself and getting pushed down, which is going to crack and weaken the leather right at that one single spot, and it's just going to wear down over time. It's going to break off, and then I'm not going to be able to do the cool thing. And the way this is stitched, because it is just a single piece of leather that's been folded over in half, I can't put my thumb at the bottom and push up to push the cards out, because that is a solid. It's a double stitched side of the leather. So it is very, very stiff. So that's interesting, but I did
doomed himself. This is what's happening.
So for functioning as a sleeve and a place to store my cards, it's fine. It's going to be fine. It just
but can you come out again? That's the question.
You can if you
like. I had this problem. It's yesterday, right? it was flu shot time, so the people came, and I was like, I didn't fill out my paper all the way because there's places, because again, like we talked about before, forms, I'm just out.
Yeah.
I can't form. I don't understand. I don't understand the information that you want me. Name, got it. Address, got it. All these numbers, which one? My insurance card has 17 numbers on it. I don't know what you're talking about. So I just gave him I was like, here. I just had to take out my prescription card and my little insurance card and I handed it to the lady. Like, here you go. I don't know.
Gosh. Nice. Yeah.
But I was struggling to get out of the wallet. That's why you brought this up. So struggling to get it out. I accidentally handed her my dentist card. I was like, wait, you don't want that one. that one will not help you.
Don't do this.
Oh, sorry. Let me take that back.
So yeah, so if you hold it widthwise between your index and your thumb and you squeeze, you can poof it out. It can squeeze it and then reach in with your other hand and pull the cards out.
Got it.
I got rid of even more stuff, so now I just have my driver's license, debit card, my 3 insurance cards, voter's ID.
Right, that's
and what's frustrating is that I can't digitize those because some places want to take it, like scan it.
They need it. Yeah.
They need it. It's just so infuriating. So it's like, sure, I'll have my.
You carry around. Hold on. Other side note. You carry around your voter registration card?
No, my boater.
Oh, boater. Oh, I thought you said voter.
I said voter, and I was like,
no.
I'm your driver's license. You don't need that thing.
I get my voter registration card and I throw it right out. I shred it and I throw it away. I don't keep those. So so
I have one somewhere. It's probably in a pile at my desk somewhere. I don't know.
I have my.
You said voter, and I was like, why? I carried that.
No. So I have my driver's license, my debit card, 3 insurance cards, my boater, and my P card for work, and that's what I have in my wallet. So, and the other thing is too, because of some things that I do for work, I do need to make sure I have my boater's license on me for work too.
So you're boating because you're around water at your job. Your job revolves around water, so
who knew?
Kind of.
So that's what I have. That's everything in my wallet, and it's gonna work out because basically my principles were I just need a protective sleeve. This foots that bill, so we'll go. Anyway, that's wallet update. Haha.
Nice, very nice.
Nice.
This is the with our scientific questioning unit right at the beginning that we're done with. That's that's kind of how I introduced it. It was like, you do this kind of thing all the time when you shop, right? Yeah. That's the connection I tried to make. It's like when you buy stuff, right? You ask yourself these questions. Now, some of you just go, "Ooh, it's blue, and I like blue," and sometimes that's okay. When you're buying like shoes, this is fine, right? It's acceptable. Not whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what if when you're buying your binder for class, what was one of the things that you needed to think about? Again, color is on there. I can't measure the blueness. I mean, technically you can. I don't want to do that with them. But like,
yeah,
I can measure color spectrum values. But like, what else can you measure and like think about until we like, oh yeah, size and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, oh yeah, I do that. That was our lead into scientific question. Is you buy things. That's how it works. But I actually made the point. We all talked about water bottles because we all have water bottles this year because we took drinking fountains out. Not out, but we replaced it. Did I tell you about this?
Yeah.
So we replaced the drinking fountain with a little spigot deal, and we talked about buying water bottles. But I actually we were talking about my water bottle, and now they all think that I need a new one. So so I might have to buy one just to placate them. Also, I want a new one because the one I have, it's just kind of those snap lids, and I carry around in my backpack, and so it's like living dangerously. One day I'm gonna throw my backpack down, and my water bottle is gonna go boop, and go.
Nice.
Everything's gonna go, but so I might have to do that. I have to shop for a new water bottle soon. It's really funny. Keep asking me, "Do you need a water bottle?" No. Stop. Calm down. Why are you obsessed with this? Wait. You were listening that day. Jeez Louise, calm down.
Right. Do you listen this intently on for everything else?
No, the answer is no. But on that one, for some reason, it latched onto that one. And so now now they all think I need a new water bottle. Like, guys, calm down.
Nice.
I don't know. They're very strange.
So,
speaking of shop, what are you buying right now?
What are you
Oh, me?
Yeah, you. Yes.
Oh, sorry. No, we were trying to come up with a coffee table idea and
nice.
The boss came in and showed it to me, and so I was like, oh yeah, that's a good 410K. Yes, okay, yes. Fine. So we'll be doing. We're just getting a coffee table and a few other things, and
I have a complicated feeling about coffee tables. Right, like on the one hand, they're super handy. I really like them. On the other hand, sometimes they're just in the way, and I don't.
Well, so the coffee table,
I don't know how to.
The coffee table that I have now is that it's big, but it's not anything overly cumbersome. It's actually quite like one person can easily like pick it up and like move it. But I think for kind of the aesthetic of the room and just for kind of simplicity's sakes, just kind of downsizing the coffee table because like this one's huge. It looks like it's made out of like oak, like a big oak table, but it's actually like really light, which that was a big thing of why I got it in the first place. But it was just she just came in and said, "How about this one?" And I was like, "Oh, actually, that looks really cool." So
yeah, so I like ours because it's hollow and the top pops off, so it's like full of storagey things, which is handy. But like also, it's really big. So sometimes just like this is why this isn't me. I can't. What the heck? I don't know. But I like it. I like having them around. It's nice. But yeah. I'm just like, why are you here? Get out of the way. I need to move you.
Nah, we just wanted to take a gander at some things, just see how it looked, and yeah, Facebook market has been super helpful lately, and so we've been looking at some stuff on that.
Well, there you go. Here's the good deals on the internet. Right. You're gonna meet some sketchy person in a Walmart parking lot to buy.
Oh my gosh. I know. I always feel like just doing like very illicit things when you're like, what kind of vehicle are you driving? This is what I'm driving. I'll be in a green shirt. Like, you know, you're just like, oh my gosh. Like, oh, it feels so like, why? What am I doing? Like, I'm going to meet you at the Walgreens at the corner. You know, I'm facing east on a black car. And you're like, no, this sounds so bad.
I really thought about that before. But yeah, I got it right, I guess.
Yeah, and then here's the awkward part when you're sitting there and they're like, "I'm in a silver Honda," and you're like, "Okay, cool." And so you're like
there's 75 silver Hondas here,
and you're desperately trying to make eye contact with every single one of them to be like, "Are you the one? Are you the one? Are you the one?" No. Oh my gosh. And then let's say you pull up and you're like, oh, they're over there, so I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna walk to their car. But then you have to like, how do you approach a car that's sitting there that is like like you can see that they're staring down at their phone? How do you approach their car without totally freaking them out? So like
message them in that messenger thing, say, I'm here, and watch them look up.
That's fine. I'll do this like weird circuitous route around to get in front of their car, so I'm not coming from the back. And then I'll like do the awkward like wave and like or try and catch their attention with a slight weird arm twitch or whatever. Like, you know, you're like, look at me. Hi, are you? And then they always do.
Collin also goes skidding through the parking lot. That's what he's doing. To be as conspicuous as possible. He's just setting up these tall guy right here, frolicking, with arms waving around. They're like
with balloons and confetti. Yeah,
that's true. Well, that's like, what you should put. That's what you should put from now on. Like, how will I recognize? I'll be the one fucking, and then just
I'll be skipping through, humming "Mary Had a Little Lamb."
Yeah, I'll be skipping the parking lot. They'll immediately. They'll be able to find you first.
And even then, when you get up to there, many people will batch them so that they'll be like, I'll be there at 10:30. But they'll tell everybody that they're buying something from that day that they'll be there at 10:30. And so they look at you and they'll be like, are you? Are you for the blanket? And I'm like, no, I'm for the Jenga set. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's cool too.
I mean, that also makes sense, but I don't ever do this. So, like, I don't. Susan is the one that does that because she's all, you know, oh, I'm buying this from this person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I never thought about something like selling multiple things at once. It never really occurred to me. I mean, it makes sense, but like, I never thought of it before.
Yeah, it's just one of those of like, it's a very weird and awkward interaction to have with people. So this is what it is.
Yeah, because it's like, how do I not tell the person very much information about myself while also taking their money? That's what I'm.
Yeah, what is
really weird?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep, and which is why there's it's an antique store it's slash car sales business that that offers a pickup. So they have dedicated a whole room to their business it's got tubs and lots of shelves. Basically, you tell the person that you're buying or selling from. If you're selling it, say, hey, I'll leave it at this shop. You can go and pick it up whenever. And the shop, you go in, you tell the shop owner, my name's Collin. This is what I'm dropping off. This is who it's for. And they'll give you a piece of paper to write a note. And you go put it on the shelf. When the person comes up, they'll grab that and they'll, quote unquote, check out. Well, they'll hand the money to the shop owner and they'll put it in your little envelope. And then every so often you can come in and they hand you the envelope of cash that you've accrued from selling all that stuff. And they don't take a cut or anything of it. It's very interesting. And the reason they started it was because, and the reason they started
take percentage of it.
I did too. And so I asked, I was like, why do you offer this service? And it was because...
Why do you not just take money out of my envelope? Like,
why don't you? Right. Well, and the reason was is that she said that she had a very good friend that worked at the Tyson factory here that worked the third shift. And he was a black man. And he was like, nobody wants to meet me after I'm done with my shift to go to sell things because it's pitch black or the middle of the night, basically. Right. And so
that third shift gets off like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, but that's so that's
I don't care what it is. I'm not buying anything 2:30 in the morning.
Right. But he was like he couldn't meet anybody, and the people who didn't feel safe meeting this black guy in a parking lot. So he was like, I guess I'll just do something. And so they were like, well, you just leave your stuff here and we'll come pick it up. And then she had another friend who had an autistic kid who couldn't be left alone and had to have all the supervision. And she had a hard time selling and getting rid of stuff. And because
it's called child with autism, first of all. Let's get our person first language correct.
Child with autism. Right. There we go. So she had a child with autism there you go. I'll just edit all that out. And she had it was difficult taking her child into public because he had certain triggers and certain things like that. So it made it hard for her, and yet she was trying to sell things and make some extra money on the side. So this business was also like, okay, well, you can, I'm already doing it for this other person. You just leave it here, and it's kind of spiraled out of control. I don't know what would be the thing to say, but she provides it for people who need it, and it's really neat.
It's really weird. It's really weird because it's like. It's a really 1940s solution to a modern problem. Right? That's what it sounds like. You come in, you drop off the paper, you get the key, you put it in the thing, and then they just switch the thing with the paper. Like, whoa, what? That's very...
Right. Like how many steps this process? Okay, cool. Whatever, right? Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, but it's a very old-timey solution. Which it works. So
it does.
It's very interesting though.
So there's my friend's sister up in Washington.
But she should expand and pay commission. That's what she should do.
Yeah. So she does this thing where it's granted they are a little bit more on the hippie-ish.
That's
the hippie-ish side of things. And so what she what she does is that she'll go out and go to Goodwill or something, or one of those places like that, and she'll clean up the clothes. She'll make them look rustic or whatever, and then she'll turn around and sell them. For a shirt that she buys for $3, she'll turn around and sell it for $60. But she would do that online. But what she's been doing recently is that there's these stores and people that either like make clothes or sell a certain product or whatever. They'll put like a little thing in there, and they will have them. It's basically like a little like clothing store. Is that people will go in and be like, oh, this person makes, or the person Y will make or have like these clothes or whatever, and so they'll have like a little section of the store like for person Y or whatever, and people will go in and they'll shop at it like like a normal clothing store, but the store will get like a little percentage of that, and then the rest of the money that the person spends on the clothing will go to the person Y, and that's how she like that's like her side gig, where she just has like all of these clothes that she just finds, make them look hipster or something like that, and then she'll just sell it in her little corner of the store, and people will come in and out. They'll buy her clothes, and once a month she'll get a check of all the stuff that she makes for that month, and then it's off for the next month. And she'll post pictures on like Instagram or something or Facebook, and it's like, oh, I got this for $3 and I turned around and I'm selling it for 75. I'm like, oh, what? How was that possible?
That thing that people do, and it's terrifying. Right? But there's people that do that. That's all they do is like buy things and then like just resell them with like their deal and stuff. And it's crazy.
Dark magic is what it is. Because
they'll like get a thing and then they're like, oh, this thing, I'm going to trade this. I'm just going to straight up trade this for this deal. And then I'm going to sell this for the other thing and then make a trade on that thing. And like, so I have no idea what's happening. It's very confusing.
Yeah, so it's just terrifying to watch, her do the stuff that she does, because it's like, oh, look at, I bought this on I went to this store and got this, and now I'm turning around and selling it. And I'm like, oh, I don't. Number one, that's a lot of work. Number two, that's just it's a whole different art and different thing that she does. It's a little side business that she's had for years, and it's just what she does.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's definitely an art form to being able to like wheel and deal in that fashion. You know that. I mean, I don't possess that. It's like, like whatever. I'd pay this care. But that's part like the people that are doing that. Like part of it is that like the making of that deal. The whole like this is like this much money. Like, that's cool. How about this much money though? Like that weird back and forth that happens until you decide you settle on ice. Like,
oh man, I am.
It's all weird, hacker. Crazy, and yeah, right. I'm not either because I don't, and I know it's because I don't do it right. Like ever, it's one of those things. Like it's in some situations like expected, but in other situations like hyper offensive to do that.
It is, and
I can't really read the room. So I don't know when his
locations, and I think to some extent it's cultural for some people, and in certain situations is expected. Obviously, like flea markets or trade shows, or
flea like when you're doing that, when you're buying stuff online, that's the time. Like not when you're like like a store. That's not how it works. But like
I know, right? You're not going to Macy's.
Go to O'Reilly's. No, I know you said this is what the oil costs, but what about if I
right? What if what? That's not how this works.
Colin's all like, yes, and I know you said fixing the transmission would cost this much money, but
right?
How about
what if it?
And then I give you this much money and trade you this.
I have 4 neighborhood chickens that need to find a good home. Would you like them?
I can offer you in exchange
right. Yeah, I don't have the art of haggling down. Like I've watched people do it, and I was like, how? Like what? what sorcery are you doing? Because this is
definitely does look like sorcery when they're doing that. Like that's a high craft skill that I do not possess. Like I didn't level that up.
Yeah.
That's why I get. Yeah, that's tough. I don't do that. I'm just okay. Here you go. Here's my
or we sell stuff every now a lot, and people try and barter, and I just I get that deer in the headlight look when they're like, I'm like, it's $5, and the guy's like, oh, we were trying to sell some trees that we got too many of them to put around our house, and we were just trying to sell them for literally what we got out of what we paid for them. I told him, I was like, this is what we paid for. We want that out of him. And it was like, it's like $7 for this tree. And he was like, $5. And I'm just like, no. Nope.
See, that's what messed up. See, that's the first problem, right? You wanted to get $7 out of them. So by the art of haggling, you should have priced at 12, right?
I should have.
And then when somebody says, "Yo, how about like 8?" You're like, okay.
and so that's what we do. We take whatever whatever we're trying to sell, and like if we're just trying to get what we want out of it, or if we know that it's valuable, we'll mark it up 15-20% so that whenever if we do quote unquote haggle down, we're like, oh gosh, you got us. And I feel bad doing that, but at the same time,
you do have to kind of price with especially in a situation like that, because that is a place where haggling is kind of acceptable, right?
Right.
So it's really hard to like, I want $20 for this. You can't price it at $20, because especially if you just want to get rid of it. Right, sure, you can like wait around and hold on to it for longer and hold out for somebody that'll pay $20, or you can price it like $30, and then the first person that gets pretty close to 20 be like, all right, sold. Got it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Make it.
Someone's like, how about I give you 20? Oh, okay, you got me.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Right. Just need to get rid of this.
Plus, you still have the opportunity to be like, okay, what about 25? So, like, see, you can still have that. You have an opportunity to come down a little bit. And then, like, I don't know. Then you could get 20 to 50. Right, how about that? 20 to 50.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. No, I don't. At that point, I'm like,
see, I understand how it works in theory. In practice, though, like, I'm just rubbish. Like, I can't execute.
I just don't care enough, right? I just.
That's also it too. Yeah. Like, okay, so I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Sure, right? Yeah. Like, okay, you want $20?
Especially if I'm buying it. Like, it's this much. No.
Yeah.
Or, okay, whatever. Like, fine, I'll pay it. Like,
I just don't care enough. Oh, that probably bleeds into way more in my life that I'm comfortable going into. Well, it's like I just can't care enough for this. That's enough. It's enough introspection for today. So anyway, you guys have a good rest of your evening.
You as well.
We'll be in touch.
All right. Watch out for the small dog when she doesn't bite your toes off.
I know he's out here eyeing me very suspiciously. He's very concerned. Cool. Whoa, hold on. You send that now? Aaron.
Yeah, the having a rave in your office. What is happening right now? What is this?
What?
Well, my phone was doing? So I was like, oh, hey, yeah.
How many
different... Why do you have so many lights?
I have little pucks underneath my desk.
Disc tech.
Yeah.
And so they're originally... We have we have a little Star Wars theme. We have a Star Wars theme in my bathroom, which is pretty dope. And so we got these lights, this kind of, lightsaber colors. And so I just put them underneath the desk. So, ta-da. And then the red thing on my desk is a little glass panel that when I coached my football seniors, signed, and there's like a little red LED that sticks underneath it, and you put it up on something, you click the button, and it goes woo. So
okay, so for our listeners, Aaron has sent us a corner desk with blue, green, and red lights blasting out in various directions, arrayed around it. It's
also we need to talk about this chair. This chair worries me lately.
Okay.
Aaron, why do you?
First of all,
orange camo?
Shut up.
Yes,
shut up.
Yeah, it's orange mossy camo chair.
No. What it is?
That's what it looks. I don't know what it actually is.
No,
here's the thing.
Listen. You're not listening. Okay, class. I'm gonna count to 3. We're gonna use our indoor voices and our hearing state. It's listening time. So it may appear to be an orange camouflage chair.
I guess since it's camo, we can't really sure if what we're seeing or not.
Yeah, duh.
But it's orange.
The room, Collin. You guys just don't know art. So
I know the orange class with red like hard for it. I'm really confused.
Well, it's the only thing I have. And
that's fair.
My friend who was a manager at Atwood's gave it to me long ago, and I've just been stuck with it since. And it's actually really comfortable.
Stuck with it. Oh, that I love it so much. It's just so nice.
But I'm like, I look at my things, I'm like, yes, my little office, and then I'm like, yeah, orange. Oh yeah, that's mine. Crap. So, but yes, this is my little setup as of the moment. I got pictures. I have little nerd stuff. I have my diploma. I have my which by the way, I just received my certification from the Oklahoma State Department of Education. I'm approved to be certified for social studies education through alternative placement program here in Oklahoma.
Well, hey.
So I got that hung up. So yeah, this is my little workstation. It's better than working on the floor at the coffee table. But yeah, so
hey, I take offense to that.
Wow, Aaron, that's aggressive. Jeez,
that's literally
shots.
You and your Tracer Funko Pop can just have fun at your desk. Okay, I'm gonna sit at the floor. On my coffee table.
Yeah.
So it's they didn't have my little Reinhardt thing, so I got her.
That's fair.
But yeah, no, this is So whenever I was working at my other place, I was on my couch and on my coffee table or sitting on the floor at my coffee table. So I didn't actually have like a true like workspace at home. And so one thing that I told myself when I was moving, I was like, well, if we're going to be moving into a significantly larger place, I'm actually going to, take the time to get a desk. And so I bought this off of Amazon, and for some reason I thought it was like, I don't know why I had the fear, but I thought it was like a glass top desk. And I was like, oh, I got to carry that and put that thing together. But
mostly you got to clean that. Ew.
Yeah. So thankfully I put it together like within 30 minutes. It took me longer to get it through the freaking door, but I got it hooked up. I got it set up in my little corner. Shelby's desk is in the opposite corner. So this is going to be our workspace, and I got my work laptop and I got my personal laptop set up. So I ordered a gaming keyboard and a gaming mouse just to have a little bit of
even more lights and clicking.
Yeah.
Even more lights.
I never really liked that aesthetic. Don't worry, shush. But
really, because your desk says otherwise.
Yeah, now it's called art. Rude.
He said he didn't like it. That was past. Now he's embracing it.
Now he's all for it.
So, now that's an old me, and
he really wants the clickety of a mechanical keyboard.
Yeah,
that moving forward with my life makes me a better person. So
true. And I just want more lights and clinky things going around. Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the clinky clinkies.
Okay. Okay.
He wants to play more Reinhardt with his new internet. That's what he wants. So we're gonna get clickety with this.
In a rainbow. Apparently, play Reinhardt in a rainbow.
Hey, it's fine.
You don't know me.
He's got a blue shield. It's okay.
Yeah, it's actually works.
He's all safe. He's safe.
All right.
Perfect.
Literally, he does have blue shields. Blue lights under his. Okay. Oh, it's fine. Let's go. You send that right at the end where we're wrapping up, and I was like, "Wow, hold on! What is this?" This needs a lot of explaining. We're good.
Just go with the feng shui, Collin. That's all you need. All right.
Okay. Well, love you guys.
I think it's good.
Perfect. Excited. Bye.
Bye. Bye.